Okay, let's go on a little journey together. We're heading back in time, way back to July of 1942, to get a glimpse into a story that's, well, it's about two specific people, but really, it's about all of us. We're going to look at just 5 days of a honeymoon and see how that little snapshot in time can tell us so much about starting a new life together. And boom, just like that, we're dropped right into the story, into this incredibly intimate moment. It's the very first morning. Can you imagine? The whole world feels new. And with just those four simple words from Fred to Betty, everything changes. A new identity just clicks into place. It's not just Betty anymore. It's Mrs. Seaver. So first up, let's explore this new beginning. This is all about that very first day where two people have to figure out how to go from being individuals to being, well, a married couple. It's about that new closeness, that new reality in the first 24 hours of their life together. Okay, so let's really paint a picture here. We're in Laguna Beach. Betty wakes up and nothing is familiar. She hears the crash of the ocean waves, the calls of seagulls, totally different from what she's used to. The air smells like salt and she feels her husband's arm around her. This is literally the sensory experience of day one. Now, this is the part that I think is so beautiful. It's the honesty between them. Betty's trying to describe their wedding night, and Fred just gently offers up these two words, imperfect and wonderful. And that just says it all, doesn't it? Their whole relationship is right there. It's gentle, it's real, it's loving. It shows you that a great partnership doesn't start with some fantasy of perfection. It starts by giving each other the space to be human, to be imperfect together. You know, their first full day is just a masterclass in the beauty of doing nothing. It's not about some grand, expensive adventure. It's about the pure joy of a giant breakfast where calories don't count, right? It's about lazy hours on the beach, just talking with no interruptions. They're creating this perfect little bubble for themselves, completely free from schedules and responsibilities. And then, over dinner, something new comes out. Betty asks Fred for a secret, and he shares this dream he had as a kid, to be a sailor. Not in the Navy, not for the war, but for the adventure of it all. It was a dream he had to pack away because, it was the Depression and you had to be practical. It's such a sweet moment, and it reminds us how important it is to keep digging, to keep learning about the person you've chosen. Okay, so that brings us to our next big idea here. It's all about how the things they do together become a way of learning about each other. These little adventures aren't just about seeing cool new places, they're about seeing each other in a whole new light. So this journey of discovery kind of unfolds in three parts. First, they dive into the local art scene. Then they get a little taste of that old Hollywood glamour. And the whole time, they're consciously, building this bank of memories that they'll have for the rest of their lives. So when they're in these art galleries, Fred isn't just killing time or nodding along. He's actually seeing Betty's talent. He's encouraging her, telling her she's good enough to do this for a living. He becomes her biggest champion right from the very beginning. And that's another huge piece of the puzzle, isn't it? Believing in your partner's potential. And this slide, wow, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows you exactly what their values are. On one side, you've got this Hollywood fantasy, the huge mansions, the glamour. But on the other side, their dream is so simple and grounded. And Fred just says it all when he tells Betty, "You're all the luxury I need." I mean, come on. They can see all that excess, but they know what really matters to them. And being on the same page like that, that's everything. And here's the real takeaway from this moment. Fred knows this isn't just a vacation. You have to remember, this is 1942. There's a war on. The future is uncertain. So he sees this time together as an investment. These memories they're making, they're going to be the foundation they draw on for strength when things inevitably get tough. All right, so this brings us to a really interesting turning point in the story. That magical little honeymoon bubble, it's about to pop, and they have to start looking forward towards real life. It's that shift from the perfect escape to the actual reality of building a life from the ground up. And here it is. Betty says the scary part out loud. And it's a question that, let's be honest, almost everyone has felt at some point. What happens when the vacation ends? Can this amazing feeling actually last? It's such a raw, vulnerable, and totally universal fear. And Fred's answer here is just perfect. He doesn't dismiss her fear. He doesn't just say, "Oh, don't worry about it." No, he totally gets it. And he reframes it for her. He's basically saying, yeah, the honeymoon is wonderful, but it isn't real. Real life, with all its messiness, the bills, the disagreements, that's where they're going to build something that actually matters, something that lasts. He's choosing the real thing over the fantasy and helping her see it that way too. And just like that, with his reassurance, you can feel Betty's whole perspective shift. She goes from being anxious to being ready. And it's not like she's resigned to it, it's excitement. She's not afraid of the bubble bursting anymore because she's excited for what's on the other side. She's all in. And that brings us to the final act of this little story. This isn't just about a car ride. This is the big, symbolic journey home to the actual start of their new life together. And here it is, that classic, iconic moment. Fred carries Betty over the threshold. It's right here, at this address, on this day, that their life as a family truly begins. The honeymoon is officially over, and home has begun. And just look at how their first night at home unfolds. It's filled with these simple, beautiful, everyday things. Unpacking wedding gifts, making sandwiches for dinner. It's a world away from the lobster dinners in Laguna, but you just know it feels even more special. This isn't a temporary hotel room anymore. This is their kitchen table, their permanent bed. This is real life. And we end on these 3 words, whispered in the dark. It's the perfect bookend to Good Morning, Mrs. Seaver, isn't it? It's not an ending at all. It's the ultimate beginning. It's a quiet, deep understanding that their journey isn't over. It's just getting started. Welcome to forever.